What's the good word, Josh? Your boy DKB here. So we got some news from Jonathan Jones of CBS Sports as it relates to the Devante Adams trade. And I've been trying to think about how do the Jets facilitate this move, right? How do we actually acquire Devante Adams from a cap space perspective? And then also we know where he's going to fit along the depth chart as the top go-to weapon, but what do you do now when you have a Mike Williams, a Garrett Wilson, a Devante Adams, and then you also have Alan Lazard with Xavier Gibson in the wings? It's easy enough to just say you'll knock all these guys down a peg, but essentially Garrett Wilson's making good money as a former top 10 pick. We know that Devante Adams' contract is massive. You paid Alan Lazard 11 million per year. And then, talking about who's the fourth guy I was mentioning? Mike Williams. You just brought him in on an incentive heavy contract, but still a pretty decent sized one at 10 million for the year, right? So the Jets would need to, it sounds like, according to Jonathan Jones, would need to offer up a wide receiver as part of this. And this actually isn't the worst idea to address every single one of those needs. And it seems like the receiver that was mentioned is Mike Williams. Now, he's been having a pretty solid season so far. With him getting worked into the offense, you can see that he's starting to have a higher, he's being more effective with the snaps that he's getting as the games go on, being able to pull coverage away from Garrett Wilson. And you can tell that the back shoulder throws from Aaron Rodgers are on the money with a guy like Mike. But this is a clear upgrade when it comes to the conversation about talent. Bringing Devontae into the room, losing Mike Williams still puts the Jets in a much better situation. And whereas Mike Williams still needs to figure out that chemistry, he still needs to adjust to his body post ACL or post Achilles to make sure that he can play to the top of his ability. Is no question. Devante Adams has the long-standing history. He has the chemistry. He has the motivation to want to join Aaron Rodgers. And then on top of that, he's fitting into a scheme that he's essentially grew up within. So not only is Nathaniel Hackett going to have a supreme amount of confidence and comfortability with bringing in a guy like Devontae, but that should trickle down to the rest of the roster, especially when you think about the struggles Garrett Wilson is having right now. Everybody's just put in a better position. And at that point, we've talked about putting the cherry on top a number of times. This definitely satisfies that for everybody that wants to see this staff, whether it's to fail or whether it's to succeed. We want to see them go full force and make absolutely pull out every trick in the bag so that we can finally see ourselves in the postseason and not just hang out and get a participation trophy or award, but actually go out there, do some damage, and look like we could be a top tier team. I don't want to just keep hearing about what we look like on paper. I want to be able to go out and see it on the field and say, yes, we are a team that has two number one wide receivers on their roster with a top two, top three running back and a looks like elite running back behind them in Braylon Allen, is along with all the pieces on the offensive line, and then that defense, which, as we've seen, if you give them a lead, sky's the limit, right? And DJ Reed's looking like an all pro once again. So there's a lot to really, really be excited about here. You take a look at Mike Williams' contract. Now, it's not a ton of relief, but he's making 10 million per year, as we mentioned. When you take a look at what that does with the trade, it's going to be a post June 1st trade in terms of how the money shifts. We're only going to save 1.25 million for a move like this. We're going to take a dead cap hit in 2024 and 2025 of effectively about $7 million. So I don't know. It seems worth it to me, right? It helps put at least a little bit of a dent in acquiring Devontae's contract. And keep in mind, part of bringing him on, you're also expecting that we're going to restructure that contract. Hopefully, Devontae tries to make it a little bit more cap friendly for the Jets and see what magic happens there. But I would be all for this move, man. I mean, at this point, regardless of how I feel about anything, sell whatever you need to sell to help improve this team. Give absolutely zero excuses. And this is what every team in the NFL should realistically be trying to do, right? acquire as much high-end talent as you can. You'd like that to be through the draft. You'd like that to be low budget acquisitions that just blossom into something beautiful for you. But that's not always the case. Sometimes money does speak and you need to go out there and make it happen. So let me know what you guys ultimately think, though. I'm curious about this because I don't think everybody would be 100% sold on swapping Mike for Devante. Not necessarily face value. Again, I don't think you really argue who's the better receiver of the two, but ultimately, I don't know. It's a net positive move for the Jets, but let me know what you guys think, and I'll catch you again. Peace.